Pope Leo XIV celebrates inauguration mass at the Vatican. Nigeria's oil and gas sector currently under review for sustainable economic growth and development. The Nigerian Air Force to leverage research and development for enhanced operations. Details on this and more on Panorama. I am Frama Panyi. Thanks for joining us. And Pope Leo XIV presided at the Mass of inauguration of his ministry in St. Peter's Square and invites the Church to work together along the path of God's love and remain united in one family. Greeting over 100,000 pilgrims, leaders from around the world and representatives of Christian denominations, Pope Leo XIV marked the joyous start to his ministry officially, inaugurating it with Mass in St. Peter's Square this Sunday. Among dignitaries is President Tinubu of Nigeria, who got a personal invitation from the Pope. Religious delegations included Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist among the many present for the celebration. Expressing his heartfelt gratitude for the prayerful and joyful support offered to him as he begins his pastoral ministry as Pope, Leo XIV recalled the intense emotions experienced over this past few weeks. The Pope also thanked everyone for accompanying in prayer the College of Cardinals meeting in conclave to elect the successor of Peter as they looked at how to continue the mission of preaching the gospel with a shepherd able to address today's challenges. Pope Leo XIV recalled how love and unity are the two aspects of the mission entrusted to Peter by Jesus. And now, vandalism of power infrastructures, power theft and inadequate funding have been outlined as factors responsible for setback in the power sector that requires collaboration from stakeholders across all strata. Kelvin Samuel reports that these are part of deliberations at an engagement between Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission and members of the Senate Committee on Power held in Ikotekpene, Akwa Ibom State.
Electricity is essential for the economic growth of any nation, and its importance is a reason for government effort at all levels to ensure adequate supply to the people. This retreat, therefore, organized by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, has critical stakeholders in the sector brainstorming on how to reposition the power industry in the country, which will translate into regular power supply. Akwa Ibom State Governor, represented by his deputy Senator Akone Yanginyi, while appreciating the effort of the federal government in repositioning the sector, reassures of his administration's commitment and the provision of efficient supply of power in the state.
Let me applaud the great work this committee has been doing in line with the strategic investments of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR that is making in this critical sector as part of his renewed hope agenda.
Minister of Power Deboye Adelabu and the Chairman Senate Committee on Power, Senator Enyinaya Baribe, say the retreat at the end will come up with the needed roadmap for improved power supply in the country.
All the five coastal states from Lagos to Ondo, Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River, they do not have any excuse not to exploit the potential of their coastal routes to generate renewable energy.
SMEs are the backbone of every economy. When they, for lack of power, shut down, then it affects each and every one of us. To sit back, analyze issues, and come up with the best approach to overcome this lingering, teething problem is giving everybody concern.
Anchored on the theme addressing the challenges in the Nigerian electricity power supply, the event featured paper presentations by experts and interactive sessions. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
And now Chika in our Enugu Network Center will feed us with more reports on Panorama. Hello Chika, happy Sunday.
So much. And moving on, In a region where security dynamics evolve rapidly, the Nigerian Air Force has charted a decisive course towards self-reliance and operational superiority through a renewed emphasis on research and development. Those were the words of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, at the Nigerian Air Force Research and Development Competition and Exhibition 2025. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
For decades, the NAF relied heavily on foreign original equipment manufacturers for critical maintenance and spare parts. This dependency resulted in delayed turnarounds, increased operational costs, and vulnerability to international embargoes or logistical bottlenecks. However, under the current leadership, the NAF has recalibrated its trajectory, placing innovation, science, and local content development at the core of its strategic vision. This strategic shift has positioned the NAF not merely as a consumer of foreign technologies, but as an emerging hub for aerospace innovation within Africa.
In a rapidly changing world, our ability to continue to anticipate, rapidly adapt, and innovate is imperative for the transformation of the Nigerian Air Force into an agile and resilient force that effectively meets the air power demands of national security in all operational environments.
Beyond components fabrication, research and development has also enhanced the NAF's mission, planning and intelligence capabilities, as well as forging strategic partnerships.
As threats evolve and technology advances, the demands for locally driven solutions becomes increasingly urgent.
In an era where air power is central to both national defense and regional stability, the Nigerian Air Force is proving that self-reliance is not just an ideal, it is an achievable strategic imperative. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Holders of All Progressives Congress APC from the Northwest Zone have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential ticket. This was during a high-level meeting with the state governors, federal lawmakers, ministers, and other party leaders from the zone. Mohammed Omar Ajingen reports that the stakeholders passed a vote of confidence in President Tinubu's leadership style, reaffirming their collective commitment to supporting his continuity in office.
It is a gathering of political decision makers from the Northwest Zone. They gathered to consolidate on their gains and, most importantly, to appreciate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for supporting the Northwest Zone.
With the 2027 general election approaching, we must intensify grassroots mobilization, consolidate our legislative gains, and engage new constituencies, especially youth and women. You could not go to some areas before now, but now you could go to some areas, you could travel from Abuja to Kaduna. This was quite impossible before he came to power. You could now go to Binumbwari, people of Binumbwari are farming, going to their farms.
The national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, says the APC is growing stronger with more decampees joining the party.
We should continue to be visible and we continue to work stronger and stronger so that 2027 will just be a walkover.
High-profile defection from opposition parties, including the Northwest, have sent a clear message: APC is the party of the future.
And now time to pass vote of confidence on the president to continue in office.
Are we ready? Yes. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those in support say aye.
This was followed by a communique on their resolutions to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's continuity in office.
All of us here have agreed unanimously and collectively that our amiable President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have done tremendously well as a president in supporting our region, the Northwest region. Here we are celebrating 12 ministers, which is unprecedented in the history of the Northwest.
The stakeholders are expected to return to their respective states to canvass for more support for the president. In Kaduna, Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
On party matters, hundreds of men and women from Labour Party have continued to collapse their structures for the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, in Enugu State. Blessing Ayamu reports that the latest defectors are from Iweze South local government area, where they were formerly received at the local government party secretariats.
Of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I hand over to you the symbol.
The state party chairman, Ugochukwu Abala, while assuring the old and new members of the party's determination for good governance in line with the renewed hope agenda, reaffirmed that APC is ready to clinch power at the state level come 2027. He urged the new members to join hands to build a more formidable party in the state.
It's a purely sanitized party, and that this party is going to be the platform for change. APC is the valiant train of Enugu State. It is the sole train of the call to our destination.
Some party stalwarts who spoke, including a member House of Representatives Sunday Omeha, who recently decamped to APC, expressed confidence in the leadership of the party at all levels, with emphasis on human-oriented programs and policies of the government.
We are initiating a massive people's movement. The whole Labour Party structure in the South has today collapsed to APC.
They believe that the mass movement of people from other political parties in Enugu State to the ruling APC is a sign of good and effective representation of the people at all levels. In Enugu, Blessing Anyang, NTA News.
Enugu State government is implementing a plan to reduce carbon emissions by introducing compressed natural gas, CNG buses. This initiative aims to improve transportation and reduce the city's environmental impacts. This is in line with the national roadmap for transitioning to a sustainable and low-carbon economy by 2060. Susan Eze is our guide.
The Enugu State Climate Policy and Action Plan aims at achieving 80% renewable energy usage by 2060. The plan targets a 60% reduction in transport emissions and a robust afforestation plan. Individuals and organizations are complementing the state government efforts with local adaptations.
We are working tirelessly to ensure that Enugu remains green and clean because it affects our health.
In the transport sector, government is revolutionizing the system with the introduction of compressed natural gas CNG buses. This initiative aims to improve transportation and reduce the city's environmental impact.
The initiative will be better for our environment, will be better for our lives and our health as people of Nigeria.
To accommodate these new vehicles, the government is investing in infrastructure upgrades. The switch to CNG and electric vehicles is projected to significantly lower greenhouse gas emissions and improve air quality in Enugu urban areas. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And now the big moments. And with us in the studio to shed light on Governor Peter Mba's effort to harness opportunities provided by CNG buses in Enugu State is Mr. Joshua Eje. He is Special Assistant on Research and Publication. And good to have you join us on the program, Mr. Eje.
Thank you, Shika. Good to have you.
All right, you just watched our reports, so we want to actually know what motivated the state government to key into this program and how many CNG buses are you kicking off the program with?
Thank you for this question. Now, we have the state government had different or various factors that motivated the procurement of the CNG buses. One has to do with the Enugu State Climate Policy and Action Plan, so which was actually designed to make the state an environmental friendly state, green state, green investment, and of course to also either reduce or eradicate carbon deposit. So compressed natural gas is actually environmentally friendly. It's a clean energy. And the second one, you will recall that in 2023, the federal government actually removed fuel subsidy, so for efficiency in the process. But this actually also came with some issues, like it disrupted the transport system. So the government had to come to intervene. That led to the procurement. And of course, the state government under Governor Pitamba also has this design to make Enugu State a tourist hub of the nation. And for all this to be actualized, there must be enabling environment and the infrastructure must be there. And of course, the state government is looking at 100 CNG buses to kick off the initiative. And a follow-up, right, we're going to have like 3,000 electric vehicles in addition.
That's a huge project. All right, want to know your plans or program, that you have to, to train the drivers and equally the mechanics that will actually be helping in this initiative.
Yes, again, the state government has also concluded plans to bring in plants. So we will have the state government, Enugu State will have assembly plants for these CNG buses, for the electric vehicles. So with this, there are going to be experts from the country and outside the country that will train the drivers on the use, and will also train the mechanics on the maintenance and sustainability of these vehicles.
Again, let's know your plan to develop CNG fueling stations, because it will be a huge problem.
Yes, thank you. Months ago, because what the state government is doing is to think ahead of time. So months ago, the state government actually had entered partnership agreement with some companies, and we have the Greenville as one of them. So the state, in Enugu State, we have the mother station of CNG gas at the CNG gas at Ugu Onyama in Enugu. So it's now 100% complete. And of course, daughter stations are also being built across the state that will feed these CNG buses.
Okay, some of our viewers may be wondering, then let me ask you the question. How will the rural communities benefit from the project?
Yes, thank you. Like I earlier mentioned that with this plant, the CNG buses plants that are going to be in Enugu and the electric vehicle plant. So we're expecting no less than 3,000 electric vehicles, and this we're also expecting no less than 200 CNG buses. On the long run, this is a long-term initiative. So this will apply all the 17 local governments we have in Enugu State. So those in the rural communities are going to benefit immensely from the project, because it's going to be intra-city and of course also work through all the 17 local governments in Enugu State.
That's beautiful. It's a novel, a new project. Then what is the government's sustainability plan?
Thank you. When you look at the government of Dr. Pitamba and see what he's been doing, the state, the administration is always factoring in sustainability plan. So that has also been concluded with investors. You know, there is this saying that state government generally is not a good manager of businesses. So the state government is actually working with partners that will help run this initiative.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Eje. We've been speaking with the Special Assistant on Research and Publication to Governor Peter Mba, Mr. Joshua. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Sheka.
And we will now take a break here. Panorama continues shortly. Do stay with us.
across the savannah to the Sahara. We rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree. We sway in colors, with undying demand. We bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Thanks for staying. Stimulating curriculum reforms that strengthen seamless school-to-work transitions is one of the targets of the two-day Southeast and South-South Interregional Training TVET Forum held in Enugu. Susan Eze reports that participants pressed on ways of revolutionizing technical education in the regions.
Admitting that Nigeria and indeed Africa is consistently playing catch-up in the rapidly advancing tech world, participants agreed that the time is now to intensify efforts at repositioning technical and vocational education and training, TVET, so our youths can match up with their global counterparts in the labor market.
So oftentimes students are just churned out of colleges and out of school without skill. And then industries are here and they're looking for workforce.
The different stakeholder organizations x-rayed issues around access to intervention funds for innovation in TVET institutions, curriculum reform and skills alignment, effective policy implementation strategies, among other matters.
The critical stakeholders are here trying to navigate through our ideas and they come up with a model that will help the young people to be engaged.
In all of these, the forum agreed that private sector participation is crucial.
Involvement of the private sector is ensuring that students get the practical skills, the entrepreneurial skills that is required to function in the labor market.
Wrap-up activities included mapping of synergies, streamlining of the ways forward, and implementation plans. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The importance of teamwork as a stimulus for efficient production in television broadcast has reverberated as general managers of NTA stations in the Southeast and other stakeholders met in Enugu, the zonal center, to brainstorm on content creation that meets the viewing pleasure of the people. Grace Chukwuma, who covered the conference, reports that it was engaging and interactive.
Content has been described as king in television broadcasting, more so in a digital era where viewers have luxury of many channels at their disposal and can access media content on the go. As such, the Nigerian Television Authority cannot be left out of the emerging trend as it has the onerous task of producing content that captures the interest of our viewers. Addressing the conference, Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Zonal Center, Patrick Iro, challenged participants to come up with captivating content that will whet the viewing appetite of the people of the zone. He said that a strong production team comprising best camera, editors, script writers, producers, and marketers shall be constituted to achieve the mandate.
So we are looking at a situation where we'll be producing programs for the zone, a situation where we'll be producing news for the zone, a situation where we can create and have some marketing strategies for the zone. So it's all about synergizing.
The conference had an interactive session where participants suggested possible ways of achieving the mandate.
We'll come up with compelling programs that will be marketable, programs that will be watched nationwide.
To come and strategize
on how to improve on the content, by so doing, marketing NTA further.
When it comes to production, we are looking strongly into having a flagship program in the zone.
It is expected that the conference, which had in attendance general managers, heads of programs and marketing divisions from Southeast, will bet a new flagship program that will be popular in the zone. In Enugu, Chris Chukuma, NTA News.